Oh, hello. Didn't realise you were there. Sorry for interrupting your pleasure of viewing at the moment, but Dracula's daughter's got stuck in the hedge backwards, apparently. Or she did do. Sat in the cafe. Leave it. Sat in the cafe down the road earlier. She came in, sat on my own. She sat at the table next to me and she leant over and she went, "My name's Dracula's daughter and I've been dragged to the hedge backwards. And I'm on tranquilizers." Well, I thought to myself, so would I be with a name like that? But I kept shut. So she said, I'm very big in the provinces, you might have heard me. And I said, you get to click in bloody Newton Abbot. I think that told her. But anyway, no, it's only me. Hi, you all right? Yeah, this is Dracula's daughter. Of course it is. I wouldn't let you down or let anyone else do my video. Hope you're okay. As you can see, I've dyed my hair. Can you see it's a bit darker now, darker purpley red. My own concoction with different various colours that I put together this morning and dyed my hair, and I think I quite like it actually. So quite pleased with that. And it only cost me £3. And this goes back to treating yourself and building your self-esteem. It does not have to cost you the earth to do it. Like I said, this hair colour cost me £3. It was 3 different colours, well, 2 different colours, 2 of one and 1 of the other. And I bought them in Poundland, and I always buy my hair dye from Poundland because they're really good. And you might have to buy a couple more if your hair's a bit longer. With me, usually I have to buy 2 anyway. So by this time I thought, no, I'll put an extra one in there, and I did. And it was 2 reds and 1 black, and that's the colour I come out with. Isn't it lovely? I quite like that. Quite like that colour. So a bit of a change. So I might keep it this colour. I think it looks quite nice. So yes. So it's still it doesn't cost much to treat yourself, does it? So the last video I did, thank you for those who watched, again, thank you for those who subscribed and everything. And I do try to do a video 3 times a week. Sometimes I might do more, because I just want to bore the pants off you all, and I'm not going to give up. So send me messages to say how bored you are. It's all right, I'm just messing about. So I've got a bit of powder on my face, that Fora powder. Looks okay, and I've used a bit of their primer as well underneath, so I quite like it actually. It does the job, let's say. But you know, so it should be a veil about that thick, or really should be covering my face, shouldn't it? You know, so, but hey ho, we can't all have what we want, can we? So isn't this makeup brush is from I can't remember what it's called, but I think it cost me about £13 for 10 of them in a nice little leather bag, leather wrap thingy. So, and it's so soft, it's lovely. And I use this. What I do when I put powder on, I use a powder puff or a sponge and put it all over, and then I use a brush. It's not usually this, but today I use this. I don't know why I grabbed this, and I just brush off the excess, and seamless, and there's no lines, nothing. So yes, so I'm quite happy with. You know, see, a lot of people tend to spend loads and loads of money on brushes. Like, I know that there are companies that sell just one makeup brush for about 40 quid, and people just rush out and buy it, and I'm there going, what for? If you can find a cheaper version that's just as soft, and especially that it's not animal fur, which a lot are, and I won't touch them personally. I will not touch them. I think I've got one brush. I think I had one brush that was, I think it was boar hairs, I think it was. But you know, so I don't believe in them, because, like, you know, it's just as soft, if not softer. And the boar hair one was quite rough actually. I couldn't use it anyway. So and when I found out it was a boar, made out of boar pig, basically wild pig hair, I just stopped using it straight away. Stopped it straight away. I don't know where it is, and must have thrown it away. But anyway, so yes, I'm whittling on yet again like an old fishwife. Well, a younger version of a fishwife. So Dracula's daughter still dragged through the hedge backwards. Nearly got stuck there today. As you can see, I brought the flowers out with me on my top like it. This was given to me years ago, and you know, so last time I wore this, all the buttons were gaps, like they're gapping open like that. And you know, I put it on today and there's no gaps or anything. So my new way of eating, well, it's not a new way of eating, I've been doing it for 6 months, so it seems to be working quite well. So do you know what's scary now? Do you know what's scary? The dogs are very quiet. The gods only know what they're doing. I put the telly on for them, so they must be watching something on there. I can't remember what it's on. So, or I think it's Say Yes to the Dress or something like that. So all these silly women getting married. But yes, so if you like the colour of my hair, please say so. If you don't like the colour of my hair, please say so. If you don't like me, please say so. Face bothered? No. Well, and even if I was bothered, I wouldn't let anyone know, because it's the person's problem who well, basically bullies. Want of a better word, bullies. That's what they do, and it is bullying. So, you know, keyboard warriors, and you know, one day we'll all be dead. You know, so hey ho. You know, so why worry? Well, what somebody else is thinking and saying? It does hurt sometimes. It was like today, I was walking through town, and people were staring, and you could tell that they're the holiday makers, because after all, I'm 6'4", I'm a tranny, I've got big tits, and most of them had never seen me before. The locals have, of course, they have. I've been here 7 years. But some of the tourists were just like that, gaping at me, and there's one guy in particular that really upset me. Actually, it was just the way he stared at me. It was an elderly guy, older than I am. I'm elderly anyway, but he was older than I was, and he was just staring, and blatantly staring, which I thought was very rude, and that got to me a little bit, because I thought, how dare you? You know, so I got on the phone and phoned somebody and said, oh look, I said, there's a 6'4" tranny with big tits walking around town with dark hair, and the guy heard me, so he looked away then. But you know, sometimes you just have to show them that you don't give a toss, that you don't care. Never ever show them that they get to you. You know, so I came home, had a bottle of water, and wished it was a bottle of gin, but there you go. But no, I haven't had a drink in 2 years, 18 months, 2 years. Oh no, I do lie. That was a lie. I do apologise. I had a drink last Christmas Eve. Me and my mate Gina went out locally, and it was empty. It really was dead. Went to the nightclub, and there was about 4 people in there when we walked in, so we walked back out again. Bloody quick, I can tell you. I know, it was just awful. I thought, oh wow, there you go. And everyone was just closed at 11 o'clock. And it was just really weird. And you know, the first time I've ever been out in this town, and the bloody pubs were closing early. So, you know, but I haven't been out since. So, because I don't like going out on my own anyway, you know, so it's just, so it's pointless going out on my own, because I don't want to sit there and just nursing a glass of Coca-Cola with about half a bottle of gin in it, or vodka. I'm just looking like a sad sack, or do you know what I mean? Debbie Downer. That's the word, the Debbie Downer. Right, so that's enough about me at the moment. Well, it's more about me. I'm going to talk about in more detail. I'm not going to show anything, but I'm going to talk about in more detail about the surgery downstairs, if you know what I mean. The reconstruction, or for want of a better word, I keep telling people I've had I've had the basement done, but the conservatory was there, so these are the conservatory. But anyway, so yes, so there was no pain after the surgery. It was numb, and it was numb right up to the waist and everything and all the way around. And because, well, whatever painkiller they used, it bloody worked, I can tell you. And I had the surgery on the Tuesday morning. I got wheeled in at 8:20 on the Tuesday morning, the 5th of February 2013. And I've talked about this before. I've got this thing about needles, and every 3 months before the surgery I had to go and have a blood test every 3 months, and it was awful, really was horrible. But anyway, so when I went to the hospital on the Monday, they had to weigh me and everything like that. And anyway, so on the Tuesday morning, the anaesthetist came in and the surgeon came in to have a little chat, which was nice. And no breakfast, of course. And the last meal I had was at tea time the day before, and that was just a bit of plain mash and a bit of and a piece of plain chicken breast with no skin on. But hey, and then the next morning had nothing, not even a cup of tea. So I had surgery, went down the surgery about 8:20, and I was back in bed by 12:30. Well, before then actually, because I remember turning the telly, having the telly on, and Jeremy Kyle was on. So I don't know if it was on, if it was 2 hours or 4 hours I was out. So, but anyway, so had it all done, all numb, and it was all covered in sticky plaster, or well, sticky plaster. Well, not one of the little ones you can buy in the shop, but Oiking Club because like that, covering the whole thing. And of course, waking up, there was a nurse from New Zealand. She was there tapping my hand, going, oh, wake up, wake up. So I woke up, and then we started talking. Literally started talking about psychology. And that was it. And then got wheeled back into my room, and one of the first things I did say after I woke up was, oh, is it done? Has it been done? And she went, yes. And I still didn't believe her. It's just really weird, because you have to remember I'd waited 48 years to be my true self. So, and oh god, my legs are fat. But anyway, so I had it all done, got to bed, and of course you can't move out of bed for at least 3 days, I think it was. So you're staying in bed for 3 days, and in them 3 days you don't eat anything. The only thing I had was, first meal was a beef consomme. Basically it was just a stock queued in hot water, but it was cooled by the time it got to me. And this jelly that if you left it for half an hour it turned to water, so I couldn't touch that. Well, I didn't want to touch it anyway because it tasted awful. And a bit of cranberry juice, and that was it. And that was until the Saturday or the Sunday. It was like that because we weren't allowed to get out of bed or anything until the Saturday. So of course no bowel movements or anything like that. And then of course on the Saturday morning they took me out of bed, took me over by the window and had all the oxygen tank and all the gubbins, you know. And it was, I was only allowed to sit there for an hour and a half and then put back to bed, which was annoying because I was quite enjoying myself sat in the chair there, and it was lovely because the heating was on and it was snowing and it was, you know, green fields and the sea on the other side. This is in Brighton, by the way, and the Nuffield Hospital in Brighton. And so then put back to bed an hour and a half later, and oh, give me another half. No, you've got to go back to bed. And what they did, forgot to move the you know, the little thingy that goes in your nose to have the oxygen, because you've been in bed for 4 days. They're saying, right, fine, no, we have to give you oxygen because just in case you might collapse or something like that, or might to have a fainting spell because, you know, been lying down for 4 days. But they forgot to take, and they left a bit of it on the back of me, and I didn't realise, and I didn't feel it. And then when they came in to, what was it? They did something, and I moved, and they noticed that where I'd been lying on it, it put an indent in my skin. So it's about, you know, so the tube like that. So they were panicking, so they had to go and get the matron, and the matron came in and said, oh, are you okay? And I go, yeah, why, what's wrong? And she explained to me, and I'm thinking, oh, it doesn't hurt, you know. So, but it was, they were panicking about that, but hey, nothing happened. And then that was that. And then Sunday, I had the drains pulled out. Oh God, that was the pain. That was the painful thing, the most painful thing ever. I can tell you, that was worse than the surgery itself. Because there was no pain. I felt it was uncomfortable. It wasn't painful. But anyway, so that was on that. They were taken out on the Saturday, and on the Sunday morning they took the dressing off and the packing out because they packed it inside. Took the packing out, and then I had to use the dilator to shove in there, and I'm just lying on the bed. And on a Sunday morning, it was snowing, and Liz Hills and this nurse were just sat there, but over by the window, just chatting away about stuff. And it was just so, and I've spoken about this before, it was just the most surreal thing ever. You know, me lying there, legs in the air, with this dilator inside me, waiting for it to open up and everything, and looking up at the ceiling and seeing the lights, and there was two women sat in the far corner chatting about the weather because it was snowing. And do you know, so it was the most surreal, you couldn't even make it up. So, and of course, and there's me being, bad weather, isn't it? Talking about the weather when my legs are kimber. But anyway, so one of the nurses noticed that one of the dilators had gone in quite far. She went, oh my gosh, she said that's gone in quite far in. And I'm thinking, why isn't it supposed to? Because I panicked. And she went, no, so it's all okay. But anyway, so that's that. And that was on the Sunday. And then that evening, I was allowed to have a proper meal. And do you know, no, it wasn't. It was the Monday morning. It was Sunday morning. It was Sunday day. It was Sunday morning. I had my first breakfast, and it was Rice Krispies and ice cold milk. Oh, it was delicious. It was after not eating for 4 days, it was the nicest meal ever. But and some toast, and it really was nice. And then the Monday I had a cooked breakfast for breakfast, and it was lovely. Really was nice. And I had to dilate 3 times a day, and 2 different sizes. One's about like that, the other one's like that, and the plastic was see-through plastic. And you do one, then push it up in there, and then you wait 20 minutes, take it out, and then push the other one up there, which is the thicker one, and wait another 20 minutes. And 3 times a day for the first 6 weeks. And then it was down to twice a day for about 3 months, 3 to 6 months, and then once a week. And well, because I haven't got a partner, I didn't bother after the first 6 months. Didn't bother doing anything, and my fault. So I've got to restart again, but it might not be properly done, if you know what I mean. So because a lot of people automatically think it might be for some trans people, trans women, that it is for sexual reasons that they have the surgery or not have the surgery. With me, it wasn't. It was just get that thing away, get it off of me. I don't want it anymore. And I wasn't bothered if I was going to have one that a usable one or not, because you get a choice. That's what I forgot to tell you before, and I'm telling you now, you've got a choice of either having one that works properly, so internally and everything, and you can have proper sex or whatever, or you can have one that's closed but still have the look and the clitoris and everything like that, and still have the feeling, but without the third hole, if you know what I mean, and second hole, and I turn around to them on the when I went there for a pre-op assessment. I said I'm not bothered. I really am not bothered if it is going to be. If it's going to be usable in that way. It's like, a guy can insert himself inside me or not. I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered. I just want to get rid of it. And the only difference is if you have the full op or part op, the only difference is 1 day in hospital. That's the only difference. If you don't have the full op, you just have it all taken off, and then just have the clitoris re-put in. you you leave on the Monday, but because I had the full surgery, I left on the Tuesday. And but anyway, so I forgot to mention that before. I don't know how much the surgery costs now, but in those days, 6.5 years ago, it cost £11,000, I think it was, £10,000 or £11,000 for the surgery. So, and that covered the whole week. But because of my low income and everything I'd been through up until I went to Exeter Clinic, you know, for about 20 odd years. I was going backwards and forwards about having it done, and having it done. I keep saying this is the best thing ever, and I keep forgetting that I wasn't born like this. Does that make sense? I keep forgetting that I had a willy before, and I had the testes before. I keep forgetting, and I do forget how it felt. I can't. It's not forgetting. I can't remember really how it felt beforehand. It's as if my brain's just shut off that part, the sex part, the male sex part. Is just extraordinary. I know it was a boy before, and I accept that, but I don't have the feelings, if you know what I mean. So I can't remember how it felt beforehand. I suppose it's because now everything's in one, you know. So everything's just, you know, the brain matches the body, well, sort of. I just need to lose a lot of weight, so the fat bitch here, like eating everything in sight. So I'm trying to cut down and all that. So because, as I've said before, I do have a really strange relationship with food. I won't talk about that here now because do you know, my skin feels so soft with that new primer. I have to get some more of it. Oh, it's gorgeous, it really is gorgeous. And the powder is just lovely as well. It's like, so fine, really is so fine. So fine, you blow my mind, oh Nikki. Or Mickey, I said not Nikki, Mickey. Hey Mickey, hey Nikki. But yes, so I come home on the Tuesday. Sue and Gav, bless their hearts, hi both of you if you're watching, and hi if you're, well, you know, if you are watching, hi for both of you. And they drove all the way to Brighton from Newton Abbot to come and pick me up. And do you know, so it was lovely because I hadn't seen anybody for a week. Not seen anybody. The only people I saw was the doctor and the nurses. The surgeon came in halfway through to make sure I was okay, to have a check and whatever, and he shook my hand, and it was lovely. And then on the day, on the morning, I was sat there by the window having breakfast, and he came in, and I had tears in my eyes, and I burst into tears in front of him, and I said, look, I said, because it is an emotional thing, you know, so you have to remember that some of us have waited most of our lives, if not all of our lives. I was 48 when I had mine done, so 48 years I waited really for the brain and the body to match. But anyway, so, and I told him, I said, you have to realise, I said, you're a miracle worker. I said, you make people's dreams come true. And he went, oh, don't be silly. And I said, no, I'm not being silly. And he got really shy. And I said, no. I said, and I thank you for that. I said, because, I said, you just don't know, I said, how it affects people. I said, I know I'll never be the same again, but I'm better for it because this is what I've always wanted. And he was just all so abashed, and you know, and you go, oh, shut up. And I was going, no, honestly. And surgeons that do this kind of surgery, male to female or female to male, they are miracle workers. They are dream makers because they grant wishes. Because I wished to be female, a woman, feminine. A lot of people will think, oh God, she's not feminine. Look at her, she's like a bloody trucker. But anyway, so you know what I mean. To actually get the body and mind in sync, as it were, without just going for therapy, to actually have the surgery. And they are miracle workers because as I was saying, so like, it's getting you to the person you were meant to be at birth, and you assigned the wrong body. And most, if not all, well, I can't say all of the trans people that I know are happy, because I have met one or two that are not happy, and it seems as if they're doing it for political reasons. Does that make sense? Which I don't understand whatsoever, because why would you do something like this, something so life-changing, just for political reasons? And it just beggars belief. I can't get my head around that. I really can't. I read in one of the magazines a couple of years ago about a guy was married, went to the GP, not happy, had problems sexually and everything, and his GP sent him to see a psychologist, and the psychologist turned around, the psychiatrist turned around and said, "Oh, sounds as if you have gender dysphoria. Start taking the hormones." And he became a she, and she was happy doing it. And apparently, she still, even after surgery, she still felt that she didn't feel right doing it, but she went ahead. And this is where I have trouble in believing what she is saying, because up until the moment before they put you to sleep, you have, so put you out about surgery, you have basically, up until that moment, you can stop it. You can, if you don't feel right about it, you can just stop it straight away. It's like with me, I didn't have a tear, no worry, no nerves, nothing going to surgery. It really wasn't. The only time I said I'm going to cry now was when they put one cannula in, and it was too big, so they put another cannula in this hand, a baby one. And that was it. I said, "Oh, I'm going to cry now because I hate needles and petrified needles." And that's the only thing. And I was out. I was literally out. And the nurse that would get me company, bless her, she said, you were so rude. She said, she was just talking away. She said, all of a sudden you bang. She said, you were out fast asleep. She was down. That was so rude. Mid-sentence, she said, you just went mid-sentence. But anyway, so no nightmares or anything like that. And the weird thing is, it's like, now this is going to sound rude. I shall do this in another video in a minute, so then, okay.